Good day, everyone. In this video, I will discuss the use of arrays in C programming. The objective of this activity is to demonstrate how arrays can be used to store and manage multiple sets of data efficiently. Specifically, I created two C programs, one that uses an array to store information of 10 students and another that performs the same task without using an array. So this time, we are in code blocks with the use of C programming. So for us to start, let us tell the compiler to include the standard input-output header file. So we could type hashtag include stdio.h and less than. So this line provides declaration for functions like printf and scanf to be used later in the program. So the next thing that we will be doing is to start defining a structure because we need a structure in this activity. It is because um, this activity needs different data such as the name, the age, the GPA, and the grade level. So those data have the different data types. So we could declare that one in a single name. So that's why we need a structure. So for us to start, let's call struct and let's name it student. Okay, inside the structure, we can start declaring all those variables or data that we need. Okay, so let's start with the name. So the name is the characters, therefore we can use the char. And let's name it name. And this time we need to make a character array. Um, and let's limit the size into 50. Okay, so names longer than 49 character will overflow this buffer. It could give potential bias. So let us begin declaring the name, the variable name that could handle the names of the 10 students. And then next is the age. So an age is an integer, so we will be calling the data type in and let's name it age. And the next thing that we will be declaring is the GPA. So since our GPA or the GPA has decimal points, so by this activity, maybe we will just need two decimal places. Um, and we could use the float or the double, but we will be using the double since double gives more precision than float. Okay, so we can say double GPA. Okay. Next is let's declare the grade level variable of a grade level. So let's make another character array. Okay, so let's say char grade level, and let's limit it to um, maybe 20 uh, size. So okay, we're done. We're done declaring the grade level and all the variables needed in this activity. Okay, the next thing is so this is the end already of our structure. The next thing that we will be doing is making um, execution entry point for the program. Okay, so maybe when the execution begins. So for us to start, let us say name and then close and open parentheses and then bracket curly brackets. So let's just enter this one to use that close curly bracket later after we are done with our program. Next is we can now declare an array of 10 students structure. So you can call struct student, let's name students, okay, and size 10. Okay, so we're done. After that is okay, yeah, we're then declaring an array of 10 student structure. So students with index 0, so students with index 9 are available. So each element store name, age, GPA, grade level, and this we can choose the arrays to store multiple records at the same time. And the next thing that we'll be doing is to make an index or loop index variable. So wherein it could iterate the 10 students. So we can say int I, okay, and yeah, that's it. And this one, the I will take values from 0 to 9 to iterate through 10 students. Okay, the next thing is to make a or to print the prompts to the console so that the user knows the program is ready to accept input. So maybe we could say um, to the user that they need or they can now enter data of the student. So print here, and we can say enter. Alright, so we're done. And we can end with a new line. Okay, so next is we will be making a loop or a for loop that repeats its value 10 times. So each iteration reads one student's data. So maybe we could say for, let's start it with 0. So let's declare I equals 0. And this program will execute, or this looping will execute until the I value is less than 10. And let us increment the I. Alright, so we're done, and then yeah, this is a for loop that repeats its value 10 times. And next thing that we'll be doing is inside that loop, we will be printing which student number is being entered. So we can say print if, and then we can start it with a new line. Mm, okay, we can start it with a new line, and then let's call the shock student. And let's gonna use the percent %d slash backslash n, which means it prints an integer followed by a new line. And we can now add 1 to our I. Okay, so we're done with printing the student's number, um, if which student number is being entered. The next thing that we will be doing is to prompt the user to type the name of the student. That's or we need to prompt the user to enter information that we need. So let's start with the name. So we can say printf. Of course, you can say enter name. After prompting to the user that they need to input student's name, we can now read the text, or we can now read the inputted data. Okay, after prompting to the user to enter name, let us now read the inputted data from the user. So we can say can and then since the name is a character, so therefore we could use the percent open square bracket caret backslash n and then the close square bracket. Alright, so this part reads a sequence of characters until a new line is encountered. So this allows reading names with space set. Okay, so that's why we are using these symbols here. So we're done. So let us put that in a closing open in a double quotation, and then let's put some comma and um, next to that is let's call the student the value of the student name. So we can say student the value of the I and then the name. Alright, so we're done reading the line of the inputted data of the user. So next thing is, of course, we're done with the name. Now let's go on with the age. So let's prompt again the user to enter the age. Okay, after prompting the user to enter the age, of course, we need to scan or read the inputted integer. Okay, since age is an integer, so therefore we can use the percent %d, okay, and because it's an integer, so you can use the percent %d, and then let's now call the value that was inputted. Alright, so we're done with the age. The next thing that we'll be doing is the GPA. So let's prompt again the user to enter the GPA. Of course, we need to read the data inputted by the user. Okay, so since we are dealing with GPA and read the number, or we need to get the number with two decimal place of the GPA, so therefore we could use the percent F, okay, the percent F. Okay, the percent F is the correct scan format for a double. we're done with the CPAs. The next is the grade level. Let's prompt first the user to input a grade level. And then let us read or scan the inputted information. So we are dealing again with the characters since our grade level is a character, so therefore we can use again the percent um, open square bracket and then caret backslash and the close square bracket. Alright, so this time we are done, or this is now the end of the loop that populates the students' RNA. We're then allowing the user to input and then we scan all those inputted by the user. So by this time, let us make another loop to iterate over all 10 students and print their sorted information. So since the user are not inputting, so we will be displaying the inputted information. But before that, let's make a header first or print a header before displaying all the stored student records. Let's try to go out to the root and let us say print it. Let's prompt the user to that we will be displaying all the students information. So we can start it with a new line. Mm, let us say student information. Okay, so but maybe we could put also line. Okay, we will end that one with semicolon and then end it with end line also. Okay, now let's start it by making another for loop that iterates over overall 10 students will print their stored information. So to start, let's start for let's start with 0 for the value of I, and it will iterate when the value of I is less than 10, and let us increment the value of I. Okay, so and let's put a code inside this for loop, which allows to display all those data that was entered by the user. So start with let's have first print the student's number heading for the display. So we can say if new line, let's call the student and since this is an integer, okay, 1 to 10, so therefore we'll be using the percent %d and then and line, new line. So let's add plus 1 to the I. Okay, that's it. We are done for printing the student number heading for display. The next thing that we'll be doing is printing those data that was entered by the user. So to start with that, let us say print. Let's start with the name. Since name is a character, we could use the present as or a string new line. Then we could call the variable um, name so to display the student, the student name. I think this is students. So we're done with the name. Okay, so this will print the name string. And then the next one is of course the age. Since the age is an integer, so we could put percent %d and then 9. Okay, next is we will be calling the printer being GPA. Okay, so since GPA, we need here two decimal places, so we could use, in displaying that, we could use percent and then 0.28 and 2. Next is the grade level. Right, so since the grade level is also a character, or we could also use a string to display the grade level, so we could use percent %s and then 9. Alright, so we're done. Um, we're done for the looping of displaying all those inputted by the user. So I think we're almost done. Okay, so let's gonna try to look for the end of this loop. So this one, this is the end of the loop of our looking for display. And after that, we really need to, since we're almost done for our array in making um, an array for um, Since we are done making an array for displaying information of 10 students, so but still we need to return it with 0, okay, for the operating system, so that the operating system could indicate successful completion. I think it's not 0, sorry. Okay. Okay, and lastly is the main. I think this is our the close curly brackets of our main. Okay, so that's it. This the last part of our execution. Okay, so we are done with our program. Now let's try to debug this one. Maybe there are some errors for this, so let's try to debug. Okay, so we have two errors here, so let's try to fix. Let's start with line 33. Some shade with some column here, not a comma. And then what else here? For line 53. 53. Okay, so since the uh, closing curly or closing curly bracket of our main ends here, so this should be removed. So I think those are the excess curly brackets. The next is oh, I see everything here. It's print if, so that should be print if. Print if and what else I see here? The point two if is it should be L big small L F. Also, I think also the other one. What else here? Okay, so since we're done debugging, let's now try to run the code. Okay, so let's try to import the information for the 10 students. So let's start it with maybe Jonna, in age of 24, maybe 21, GPA is 3, and grade level, maybe we could say 4th year, and we were down to the last student. Alright, so since we're done inputting all the information, it is expected that after we input all the information, this program could display those information of the 10 students. So let's try to see it. Okay, so let's go back upward. And as you can see, in the first part, we've inputted all the information of the 10 students. And after that, in this part, it displays from student 1 here to the student information, from student 1 here down to student 10, it displays all those information inputted by the user. So I think we're done with the first part of our activity, which making an array or displaying the information of the 10 students using an array. So we use an array of structure to store information on 10 students. So each student has 4 attributes, which are the age, GPA, name and grade level. So by using an array, I was able to store multiple student records under one variable name and access them using an indexer. So you can see we have here a use character array, and we have also another array here. And in our loop, we use those indices or in the index of an array. So in the first um, loop, for loop that we had, we use to input the data for each student, which reduces code repetition and makes the program shorter to learn, easier, and easier to manage. So for that, and the last loop or the other loop that we had is it is used to display all the students stored information, student information. Okay, so I think we're done with the first part of our activity. Now we will be doing the next part of our activity, which we will be displaying the same output, but we will be coding them in different ways because we will not be using an array by that time. Okay, so now let us start again. Hello everyone. In this video, I will explain my C program that stores information of 10 students without using array. This program is intentionally long and inefficient because it is designed to show how difficult programming becomes if arrays are not used or do not exist. So let's start with our header files. First to start, at the top of the program, we will be um, including one header file only. So let's start with hashtag include std. We will be starting with hashtag include um, stdio.h. So this header file is used for input and output operations. So it allows the use of printf for displaying output and scanf for accepting the user input. So next thing is we will now, or let's now make the main for us to start our program. So let's make our main function. So we can say init main also not in parentheses. So we will be putting all the codes here inside our main. So we're gonna enter this one. Okay. So this why we use int is because it means that a program will return an integer value to the operating system when it finishes running. So, okay, so we're done. And in this part, let us now start declaring all the variables that we need um, for our activity. So in this activity, still in the previous video, we will be inputting 10 informations of, 10 students. All the information, it includes the name, the age, the GPA, and the year level. So that's why we need to declare variables for those information. So let's start with um, the name. So since arrays and string are not allowed in this, since arrays here are not allowed in this version. So therefore, I had to manually declare individual variables for every piece of student's information. So let's start declaring it one by one. Okay. So in this part, each char variable stores only one character. So, meaning to say, um, in this activity or in this in this activity, we will just choose or we will just make or input name only for what is that, four letters of the name. It's because when we make it, when we want to make it long, maybe we need to declare a lot of variables, so maybe we could just minimize it into four letters only, because here it's really hard for us to deal um characters, because we are not allowed to, or we will not be using character array. So, and in this part, this means that the student's name is broken into four separate letters instead of using in string. So we can use space, or maybe we could use, we can also use not a, or we can also use, we can also not use the space. So um, this name one A, name one B, name one C, name one D is just the character of the variable of the character of the, okay, this name one A to name one D, it handles the four letters of the name of the first student. So we need to declare it one by one. It's because we will not be using an array. So that is why we declared it, each of the character one by one. So we only have limited input of only four letters. And since we're done declaring for the name, okay, let's now go on with the age. This is just for a student one. Okay, this is just used for the student one. We will just label it with student one. Um, okay, student one. Next is we will be declaring the age of the student. So let us say int age. Um, Here it will not be hard to deal with an integer. Okay, but the character is really hard because there's no character array here wherein it will handle at least, or the data, um, the 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 data will be handled in one variable. So that's why it's really hard without the use of array. Now let's have the age, and yeah, we're done declaring the variable for our age, which stores the um, information of the age of the first student. So it accepts whole number. Okay. So next is our GPA. So we will be using the double GPA, or the double data type. Okay, the data type is used for the GPA because GPA values contain decimal numbers. Okay, so that's why we are using the double. So let us say double GPA 1. The next is, we will be declaring the variable for our grade level. So in the grade level, so it is a character, so the same as name. It would be really hard to deal with a character without the use of an array. So therefore, we will be declaring one by one. I mean, we'll be declaring the string one by one. So maybe we could limit it to at least one, um, at least two string. It could be um, numbers, or it could be letters and numbers. So for example, you will input grade 1. So maybe we can put G1 in this activity. for us not to make our program very long. Okay, so char. Let's declare only two variables for this. Grade 1A and grade 1B. So this the grade level is also split into two characters because strings and arrays are not allowed here. So that's why we have two variables wherein these two variables can handle the two strings that the user will input during the running of our program. So the first input will be in the grade 1A and the second string will be in the grade 1B. So it could be a letters or maybe a letter or a number or um, if it is like grade 12, maybe we can just put 12. At least two strings for our grade level. Okay, so we are done declaring all the variables needed for this activity, um, which I mean needed for only for the student one or for the first student. So it handles the name, okay, which is only limited for four letters only, and then for the age, and we have also for the GPA and for the grade level. So next is we'll be declaring again um, the same data or um, the same data for our student number two. So maybe we could copy this and just replace all the numbers into two and copy again for the 10 students. So copy and paste for this part so that we could make 10 students. We could declare um, variable for 10 students. So let us start. Okay, so we are done declaring all the variables needed for the 10 students. So as you can see, it's a little bit long. It's just repeating the same process. So yeah, the same pattern is repeated for students 1 to 10. So it's very long code, and every student requires multiple variables just to store basic information. So that's why it's really hard if there is no array that could handle them. Okay. Since we're done declaring, um, let's now get the input from the user. Okay. Um, for us to start, maybe we could use the printf. Let's now start um, let's start first inputting the information of the first student. So let's say Okay, so in this part, we just use the printf function to display a message. That's a So in this part, or in this line, we just use printf function to display a message on the screen and tell the user to input student one information. So we use also backslash n in the last part for the new line character, which moves the cursor to the next line to make the output cleaner and easier to read. Okay, so this time let's now allow the user to input name of student one. Alright, so as you can see, we will allow the user to input only four letters of name because as what we have said a while ago, this program does not use array or string, so the user is instructed to enter only the four letters of the name separate. We can also use space if they want, or maybe they just put only the initial four letters of the student because we are just dealing very limited number of um, letters. It is because we are not dealing or we're not using array, and it will be very hard if we will make it long. So let's just minimize it into four letters. Okay. So next is okay, we're done telling the user to input at least four. I mean, no, not at least, but exactly four letters of the name. Let us now read the what is that? The input of the user. Okay, so in this line, as you can see, um, we use this um, percent %C or percent %C, okay, because this format specifier is used to tell the program to read one character from the keyboard. So that's why we have 4% seats because I mean, the user will input four characters only. So And since arrays are not allowed, so I cannot store the name as one word. So instead, I store the name letter by letter. So that is why there are four C formats specifiers. Each %C corresponds to one character variable. In other words, 1% C equals one letter. So, and we just call all the variables that we declare above for the student one, all the variables for that handles the four letters of the name. So, which is the name 1A to name 1B. And we use this ampersand symbol to pass the memory address of each variable. So, and that's it. Okay, the next thing is we will be telling the user to input the age because we're done with the name. So, let's now input the age. Okay, so let us say print if again. Okay, so in this part, we are done telling the user to enter an age. So, of course, the next thing that we will be doing is we will be reading the input of the user. So, let's now have the scan. Alright, so in this line, we are scanning or reading the input of the user using the scanf. So maybe you'll be asking why I use percent %d. This should be percent %d, not ampersand %d. So percent %d for us to tell the program to read an integer value or a whole number. So that is why we are using the percent %d, and that's the format here in C programming. So, and we also again use the ampersand to store value into the age variable. And the age one that we declared a while ago, I just coded here so that it could store the input of the user. So next, we're done with the age. So let's now input the grade. The GPA. Alright, so in this, we are done telling the user in this part to enter a GPA. So after that, we scan the input of, or we read the input of the user. So that's why we call the variable of the that we declared a while ago, the variable for the GPA for the first student only. So, and we use percent %LF. Okay, we use this format specifier because the GPA is stored as a double data type, so which allows the decimal values. So it's because the LF stands for long float, which is how the scanf reads a double value. So that's why we use percent if. We're done with the GPA, so let's proceed right now to the last one, which is the grade level. This is just for the first student only. Okay, so in this part, we just prompt the user to enter a grade level, but the grade level will just have two characters only, maybe two numbers, or it combined with one letter and one number. So the next thing that we will be doing is, of course, reading the input of the user. Okay, so we are done reading the input of the user for the grade level with two characters only. So we use 2% C here. Okay, to store one character of the grade level. So in each of the variable. So and in this part we called the variable that we declared a while ago for the grade level of the student one. Okay, so we are done with the with this part wherein it we are allowing the user to input information of student one. So this is for input info student 1. Okay. For us to do the next, I mean, for us to make 10 students, so we will just again do the same thing. Maybe we could copy and paste all the data here and just replace the variable. Okay, we will start. Okay, so we are done copying and pasting all the the things that we did, wherein we just replace the numbers of the students for us to prompt the user to input the information of the 10 students. So yes, we are just repeating or doing it manually for all the 10 students, which makes the code very long and repetitive. So this clearly shows how difficult it is to manage data without using arrays. So this input section demonstrates that without arrays, even multiple user input requires many variables and repeated code. So, okay, let's go on with the next part, which is the last part, displaying the student information. So after the student or after the user input all the information of the students, of the 10 students, let's now display. So for us to display, let's start with, let's put a heading first. And okay, so as you can see, we just display the header which it gave us student information. We use some backslash and again for us in the beginning for us to create a blank line before the heading. And of course, it improves readability by separating the output from the previous input section. So also at the end of it, we use backslash n to move the cursor to the next line so the student's information will appear neatly below the heading. Okay, so next is, of course, let's now start displaying. Let's display this time all the um, things that was inputted by the user or all the information that was inputted by the user. Okay, so we're done displaying or printing the information for the name. So as you can see also, we are using percent %C again, the same as what we do in the previous um, character for the name, and we just call the variable that we declared, we just call the variable that handles the input for the name of the student one. Okay, so let's now go on with the let's print the age for this time. Okay, so we're done printing the value for the age. And next is let's have the GPA and the grade level. Okay, so we are done displaying the um, information of the first student only. So this is just for the first student. Maybe we could label this display info student one. Okay, this is just for the students one. For the student one, wherein we just need to call the variable name that handles the name, variable name that handles the input for the age and GPA, and together with the grade level. So this time we will just again repeat the process for us to display the information or the data for the student 2 to 10, and we will just copy the how we make for us to display the information of student 1. So we'll just copy this, and then let's go to the display the label, and then let's replace it with 2 with the let I mean the number. Let's replace the number for us to get the values because the time that we declare this, we are just replacing the number for us not to get difficulty in calling the variable name. Okay, so we are done now displaying the information of the student 1 to 10. So it's a very long code here, from declaration down to inputting the information and then going to displaying the information of the 10 students. So it's a little bit or quite long. Lastly, I think we're done. Since we're done with the displaying, let's now return the value into zero. Okay, so return zero, semicolon. So we need to use return so that for us to send value back to the operating system after the program finishes executing, and then we put zero for it means that the program ended successfully without any errors. In C programming, returning zero from the main function is a standard convention that tells the system that the program ran correctly. Okay, so yeah, if a non-zero value were returned instead, it would usually indicate that an error occurred during execution. So I think we're done. So let's now put here the close curly brackets of our main function. So let's try to debug and run the program and see if it will display it will allow us to input the information of 10 students and then display it after inputting. Let's build it first and run. Mm-hmm. Let's see, there are some errors here. Okay, it should be small. Okay, not able to replace here. Okay, what else? Mm-hmm. Grade 9A and grade 9B. Mm, I see, but mistake here. B, grade 9A. Two more errors. Forgot the semicolon. Yeah, debug it again. Last error, we forgot again the semicolon. Let's try to build it again. Oh, see, it's wrong spelling. Let's try to build it again. Okay, so we got it. So it runs perfectly. Okay, so let's try to input first four letters only. Rona, age is age is, let's say, senior high school student, so the age of maybe 16. GPA is 4, and they are grade 11. I mean, she is grade 11. Proceed to student 2. File age is 17. GPA, maybe we can say. Okay, we are now down to our last student, which is the student number 10. So maybe we could name this Tyra. Age is maybe 17. And GPA 3.00. And then for the grade level, so grade 11. So these sets of students are, maybe we could say, they are grade 11 and 12. They are senior high schools. So after this, since we are down to the last student, for the student number 10, so the next thing that this program that we'll be doing is display all those information of the students. So let's see if it will display. Okay, so I think it ran successfully. Let's go up here. This is our input a while ago. All the student information. And the next is next thing here is it displays the information of the students. So from student 1 down to student number 10. So as you can see here, we have 229 line of codes, um, which is very long. Okay, that's from line 1 going to line 229. Okay, it's a very long code compared to our previous code wherein we use the array. We only have 1 to 42 lines of code. Okay, but they both of the program has the same output. So in this part, um, the program clearly shows how difficult, okay, um, how difficult programming becomes without arrays. So the code is extremely very long, repetitive, and hard to maintain. So if I make mistakes in one variable name, the program may not work correctly. So actually, the advantage of having arrays or using arrays, it allows us to store multiple values of the same type using one variable name. So with arrays, we can use loops instead of repeating code, just like what we have done in the first video. So arrays make programs shorter, cleaner, and easier to understand. So if arrays were never invented, programmers would need to create thousands of individual variables. Large programs like databases, operating systems, and games would be almost impossible to develop. So code would be harder to develop, harder to modify, and extremely inefficient. So hopefully you've learned something from this video. Thank you. That would be all for this activity. Goodbye and God bless.